Welcome back to Passion to Reality. I'm your host, Matt Liller. At the end of the last episode, I promised we'd talk about why 2025, right now, is actually the best time in history to become a creator, and how this thing called the creator middle class is quietly changing everything. And I don't mean that as some kind of hyped up, everybody can be famous type pitch. I'm really saying this from a data and real world standpoint. The data shows that the creator economy has matured to a point where ordinary people like you and me can build real careers from their creativity and not just rely on viral moments. So today, I want to unpack why this moment is so unique, what's fueling it, and what it actually takes to make it work for you. First is the creator boom. I get that a natural inclination to the phrase creator boom could be to picture the megastars with millions of followers, but I think the real story is actually happening one layer below that. The global creator economy was valued at about $205 billion in 2024, and it's projected to reach about $252 billion in 2025. And that's roughly a 23% growth rate in just 1 year. And to keep things in perspective, there are now more than 200 million active creators worldwide. And in the US, full-time creator jobs have jumped from about 200,000 in 2020 to 1.5 million in 2024. I don't really see that as just a trend. Frankly, I see that as a whole new workforce. So this boom isn't really about viral stars anymore. It's about a massive base of creators earning smaller but sustainable income streams. And I think that foundation is what's really new. So now I want to talk about the rise of this creator middle class. And when I say creator middle class, I mean people who make a living but not a fortune from their content. And these types of folks have multiple income streams, some systems in place, and they're growing slowly but sustainably. And I think that's important because historically, when the middle class grows, the economy tends to stabilize. And that's the same thing here. We now have a ladder that we can all actually climb from a side creator all the way to a full-time independent. And I found a few interesting numbers. On YouTube, only about 4% of creators make six figures, so $100,000 a year or more, but nearly half make under $15,000 a year. Now, I'm a believer that numbers can be read to mean kind of anything you want. And so while that might sound discouraging that there's so many people making less than $15,000, I think it's actually proof that millions of creators are earning something. And a cool thing is that a huge percentage of creators say they're building direct connections with fans through subscriptions or communities or memberships, meaning they're not waiting on those platform algorithms anymore. So let's talk about what's fueling this shift. So first, AI and automation. We got to start there. My take is that AI shouldn't be looked at as a threat, but rather a creative co-pilot. From scripting to captions, to music, to thumbnail ideas, creators can use AI to just plain work smarter. And if you're not, I highly recommend it. Second is platform maturity. So YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, they've all changed. And although sometimes the target can still shift a little bit, for the most part, we understand what they reward, how to optimize our content, and how to monetize from the platforms. For some monetization numbers, YouTube alone generated over $10 billion in ad revenue last quarter, and brand spending on creator marketing is reportedly up 143% in the last 4 years. And third, I think infrastructure is making this possible. So we, as the creators, don't have to do everything by ourselves anymore. Editing services, brand matchmaking platforms, virtual assistants, template libraries, they've all grown exponentially in the last few years. The reality is that you can build a lean but efficient team without breaking the bank. So if you've ever thought it's too late, I think it's actually the opposite. So, okay, Matt, why is now, 2025, the best moment to lean in? Well, the algorithms are just more stable, even if we don't always agree if they serve our stuff. The Wild West days are hopefully over, and we understand a lot better how discovery works and how to play the game. Next, we know that brands have budgets for creators. For the first time ever, creator platforms are projected to generate more ad revenue than traditional media, which I look at as money flowing towards us creators instead of away from us. Third, it appears that overall, the audience is really tired of really overproduced content. They want real voices, imperfections and all, and a real connection with the creators they watch. So there's a big benefit to just showing up as yourself. And finally, there's lower risk and lower barrier to entry. You can very easily start with a phone, use AI for lots of boring stuff, and you can test ideas in days instead of months. And this really means the cost of failure has never been lower since you can recover so quickly. So that makes the opportunity massive. Now that we know why we should lean in now, let's talk about what it actually takes to succeed in the current landscape. So first, leverage your medium and pick the one that fits you the best. If you love speaking, do video or podcasting. If you love writing, go with a newsletter or LinkedIn. I don't think it's a really good idea to chase every single trend, and the data says it's better to master one medium and build depth there. Second, pick a general niche, become a real voice in that niche, and be consistent. So in other words, find your lane, speak with a unique tone, and stay at it. And this is going to be virality every time. Third, it's probably best to diversify some income streams, even with a small audience. You can pretty quickly experiment with things like brand deals, affiliate marketing, and digital products. And then once you become a bit more established, you can look into things like coaching or memberships. A big reality of this modern era is that you don't need 1 million followers to make a living. Fourth, we have to build systems. We can't think of ourselves as just creators. We're actually business owners. We have to do things like batch recording, using templates, and hiring help when possible. We have to do this because we really have to protect our time. Fifth, a lot of successful creators talk about the importance of owning your audience. We know that the algorithms and platform rules can change, but email lists and communities don't. So it's better to own that relationship directly. And finally, I think it takes the right mindset. We got to be patient. We got to be humble. And we got to be iterative. I think the truth is that the people who win in 2025 and those who are going to win in 2026 aren't the loudest, but they might just be the ones who adapt the fastest. So here's where I land on all this. I think this moment is special. Technology, audience demand, and the tools we use have all aligned in new ways that we might not see again for a long time. But access to these things doesn't equal any type of guarantee. We still have to find our voice, we have to show up consistently, and we have to learn how to iterate and create in public. If you've been waiting for a sign, here it is. Start. Publish something that's not perfect this week. Test an idea. Try a new format. The path from passion to reality has never been more doable. We all just have to step into it. Thanks so much for listening. If you got value from this episode, please consider sharing it with a friend who might be thinking about sharing their own creator journey. I'm Matt Liller, and this is Passion to Reality.